Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I get so many emails.
All right, so I see we're out here standing in solidarity with Amazon workers. So can you kind of explain like what everyone's doing out here today?
Totally. So yeah, so we have this Picket today is part of a national day of solidarity for the Bessemer, Alabama Amazon union effort. So all across the country, there's a lot of actions like this to show support for those workers. Here today, we have a lot of different groups in Milwaukee. I am a member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation of Milwaukee, and I also organize with the Unemployed Council. And so there's other groups here like Wisconsin Bailout People and some IWW members, and we are here today in front of Whole Foods specifically because obviously that is also part of the Amazon Corporation, and so we wanted to have a strong show of solidarity to show that we support all workers' rights to unionize, and we think it's really monumental that that this effort in Alabama has gone so far because Amazon has always been really anti-worker, anti-union, and it's pretty amazing what they've been able to do so far, and we really hope they succeed.
Okay. Why do you think it's important for these different corporations and whatnot to form unions for their employees?
Yeah, totally. So unions allow workers to have more of a say in their working conditions, more of an ability to like leverage in negotiations around like pay, working conditions, benefits, things like that. And so in the long run, I mean, like unions can make for better working conditions for workers, and that can, not only does it matter because workers deserve like quality of life, but like in the long run, it's good for the company overall if your workers are healthy and comfortable and being compensated properly.
Okay. And what type of like treatment are the like Amazon workers getting that's making everybody want to form a union?
For sure, yeah. There's a lot of horror stories you can read online about the conditions in Amazon warehouses. I mean, to start, they have really intense shifts where they're expected to. They are. Amazon workers have really high quotas to make, so that means when they're on their shift, like they get punished if they don't make their quotas in terms of like items like shipped and packed and whatnot. So oftentimes like they don't get bathroom breaks. There have been stories of workers in Amazon warehouses just collapsing from exhaustion because they are working so fast for like hours on end without any sort of break. So there's that. There's also the fact that Amazon workers really aren't compensated appropriately according to like what profit they're bringing in for this corporation. And like Amazon does have a reputation for like giving like good wages, quote unquote. Oftentimes they'll start at like 15 an hour or more. But the fact that Amazon is like the richest corporation in the world, bringing in billions every day, and Jeff Bezos is growing richer by the second. Like they have the money to pay them more because the workers are the ones who are like creating that profit for Amazon, for creating this like amazing service that has this good reputation. And so like it sounds like they're being paid well at a first glance because our national minimum wage is $7.25.
Right.
But in reality, they're not being compensated appropriate to what value they're bringing into that company.
Okay. If you could kind of put out one message to Jeff, what would you say to him
Oh man.
if he was here? He had
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, I would say, the billions that you sit upon are made by all of the workers below you, and no one just makes $1 billion without exploiting the people below them. And so, yeah, that's the shortest
All right.
statement I would make to Jeff.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Coming out and standing in solidarity with the Bessemer Amazon Workers Union. If they manage to vote yes and get everybody on board, this would be a historic moment for labor in U.S. history. Amazon is one of the largest employers in the country, if not the largest, in retail, service, and distribution. So if the workers can control that means of their life, their livelihood, the ability to bring food and necessary goods like clothing and all sorts of things to the people, by the people, we can truly have the groundwork for a country that is truly democratic and run and led by the people. So I just want to introduce myself. I'm Maddie. I'm with the Unemployed Council of Milwaukee. We are a group of people who are unemployed, underemployed, and sometimes even just overworked, just trying to get by. And we fight with the people and for the working class because we are the working class. Right now, a program that we are implementing is called File Together, Fight Together, where we are helping people every Sunday who need assistance for filing for the unemployment that they deserve. Because often bosses will lie and tell you that you are not entitled to unemployment. As a matter of fact, almost always you are if you have been let go for any reason under the pandemic. They just don't want to pay you because they still have to pay you if you're unemployed. So we are at Bounce Milwaukee, which is at 2801 South 5th Court from 12 to 4 p.m. every Sunday. We'll be there tomorrow. If you need help, if you know anybody that needs help, have them show up. Or you can reach out to us at contact.ucmke@gmail.com. And if you want to talk to me after this, I can take down your information, and we can work something out. So yeah, that's who I am. That's who I'm with. We got a number of our members out here today. So I just want to talk about Amazon a little bit, and I want to talk about the people who are working at Amazon in Bessemer that are trying to form this union. So last year, during the pandemic, Amazon managed to make $13.3 billion in profits. All the while, with all these profits, the organizers, the primarily black organizers in Bessemer, Alabama, have revealed some of the most oppressive and dangerous working conditions that Americans have had to face to date. So this is why they're organizing, about 6,000 of them, trying to form a union. And it's sad to think that this isn't just an isolated situation. There are workplaces all across the country, in all different fields of work, that are dealing with mismanagement of safe work environments, poor compensation for what is deemed essential workers. Essential workers is a phrase that's trying to pacify us as the working class to feel good about what we're doing. Every single worker is essential. Every single worker here in this country, internationally as well. Every single worker on the planet is essential. We make the world run. So, with that, I also want to point out some of the hypocrisies with this $13.3 billion of profits. Amazon is one of the largest subsidy receivers of tax dollars while paying almost no taxes at all. On this $13.3 billion last year, Amazon paid $162 million in taxes. That's a 1.2% tax rate. I pay almost 30% in taxes. people do. And it's not just your income tax and whatnot. We're also having to pay an increase in rent because property taxes here in Milwaukee have gone up. All sorts of costs are going up. We can't even get a minimum wage increase. These things are all stagnant. So it's important that what we do here today is we support the union organizers in Bessemer, Alabama. Because if we get unionized in the South, in the predominantly black, anti-worker region of the United States, then we can unionize anywhere, and we can really gain worker power. So we stand with the workers. And we must do this without any hesitation. We have to support them, to show our solidarity. And we have to help them and let them know we're here for Bessemer, Alabama's workers union for Amazon. And when the greedy capitalists step on the necks of our working class family, we have to stand up and fight back. Because like I said, workers make the world run, and workers should run the world. Solidarity forever with the Amazon Union. Thank you. Now I would like to, if Brian is willing to come up and speak, Brian's with the Wisconsin Bailout the People movement, and I'd like to hand the mic over to him.
How y'all doing, fellow workers? All right, today we're here in solidarity with our fellow workers in Bessemer, Alabama, 6,000 about strong, majority black workforce, 85% plus. And we know that the liberation of all workers in this country is going to come through the black and brown struggle and solidarity with white worker allies. Like Brother Matty said here, Wisconsin has now always had features of Southern methods. But in the last 10 years, a lot of these have been formalized. Act 10, right to work. These are stone cold Jim Crow methods. There's the Bradley Foundation right down the street, the Right Wing Foundation, which has Art Pope from North Carolina on the board. In North Carolina and Virginia, collective bargaining is illegal, although there were some advances in Virginia in the last year. And we see what the effects of this has been. Scott Walker, who is now the president of the Young Americans Foundation, along with Mike Pence on the board there, is claiming that they have saved, quote unquote, $13 billion from taxpayers in this state. But that money came from public sector workers through Jim Crow methods like Act 10 and right to work straight out of the South. So today we understand here in Wisconsin that those of us in the quote unquote North, we must be in solidarity with our fellow workers in the South and all over the world. Today, this is the question. Are we, especially those of us who are white workers and white union members, have special responsibilities to make sure and to ensure that we have black worker leadership and black rank and file leadership and black and brown worker leadership and women leadership and LGBTQ leadership? This is how we're going to win, and this is how we're going to advance. And this is what we're seeing with the Amazon workers. Last weekend, a very remarkable and amazing action of solidarity. Black Lives Matter in Birmingham, Alabama, had an over 100-person car caravan to the Amazon worker plant in Bessemer. That's how we're going to win. This is how we advance and win, to make these connections. Today, it's wonderful. We have all kinds of folks here today. Y'all in Milwaukee are doing amazing work with Collectivo and the museum and organizing unions. And the reason why the Milwaukee Teachers Education Union is even alive today under the conditions we're facing and the work you're doing is because we've moved to a social justice class struggle approach. This is how unions are going to advance. And this is what these Amazon workers are doing in Bessemer. They are reaching out to Black Lives Matter. Today, there are international solidarity actions all over the world. There's over 50 in the United States, all throughout the South, throughout the Midwest, East Coast, and West Coast. And we are here in Milwaukee, and we have a long, long, rich, and deep history of worker solidarity in Wisconsin. And we're not just going to go down and lay down for these bosses and these rich, filthy animals like Jeff Bezos, are we? No. All right, are we going to stand for Jim Crow or oppose Jim Crow in Wisconsin? No. All right, right on. We're here today. We know that there's one of the things that some of you might not know about labor law. What's happening in Bessemer is February 8th, they started a mail-in ballot because of the pandemic. And this is going on for 7 weeks. And it's important for the public to know that the union busting industry in this country is a multi-billion-dollar business. It is outright terrorism what they do to these workers. Right now as we speak, the Bessemer workers are under siege. They are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, getting emails from their employer. They're being brought into one-on-one meetings and just being hammered. And that's why they need solidarity. Are we going to sit here and abandon our black workers and our white workers and our brothers and sisters in Bessemer while this is going on? No. Right on. So we're here today to be in solidarity. Please spread the word. The vote ends on March 29th. We need as much solidarity as we can. We posted this on Wisconsin Bail Out the People. The Unemployed Council, many others shared this event today. There's 9 days left of voting. Please spread the word. Please get solidarity statements out and resolutions. Like Maddie said, if we win this campaign, it's going to move to a first contract campaign, and this could change labor relations in the United States for decades to come. This is really the largest campaign since probably 1937 in this country. This is it. This is the question of where do you stand in supporting these Bessemer workers? Which side are you on, like the old labor song said? We're on the side of these workers. We're in solidarity with them. We say organize the South. Solidarity, sisters and brothers. Let's keep marching, and let's make some noise right here in Milwaukee and let them know we're with them.
Thank you, Brian. All right, so I just want to give a little heads up of what the plan is. We're all standing at this corner, it's great. But I'm thinking we should get moving. We'll walk to and from the corner so we can get our blood moving, get some chants going. If anybody wants to start a chant, feel free to. We'll have a few more people who are going to speak out, a few more labor organizers and workers that have some experiences they want to share. So we'll do that for about 10, 15 minutes, and we'll have a couple more people speak. And if you want to speak out, if you want a chance to speak out, if you're a representative of a local union or just any kind of organizing effort in solidarity, come find me. I'll pencil you in, and I'll make sure you get a chance to speak. So, yeah, thank you, solidarity. We stand in support of the union. Union, yes. And, yeah, thanks again for coming out.
We support the Amazon workers.
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 Workers' power is people power.
Workers' power is people power.
Union power is people power.
Union power is people power.
Worker power is people power.
Worker power is people power.
Union power is people power.
Union power is people power.
We support the Amazon workers.
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 Workers' power is people power.
Workers' power is people power.
Union power is people power.
Union power is people power.
Worker power is people power.
Worker power is people power. Increase the pay!
Increase the pay.
Start today, increase the pay!
Start today, increase the pay.
Start today, increase the pay!
Start today, increase the pay.
Start today, increase the pay!
Start today, increase the pay.
Start today, increase the pay! Start today, increase the pay! Start today,
Increase the pay.
Start
Today, increase the pay. What's disgusting?
Union busted!
What's outrageous?
Poverty wages!
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 Predicament, and I had to arise above it, and I had to go against a lot of things. I've lost jobs, I've lost relationships. relationships, business relationships, employment relationships, all those different things based on identity and based on perspective. No matter what the reason may be why a person may or may not see value in workers, diversity in workmanship too as well. No matter whatever reason that there may be that this is not right for people, for the whole entire collective, we all deserve better. And when we see what we're doing right here and we start coming together and moving on one accord with one specific goal in mind, we make change. So I commend you all right now for what you're doing. You know, we may be small individuals by ourselves, but we are really a massive force when we come together. And this has been proven time after time. And you guys are exemplifying that incredibly right now. And I love you all. And I thank you right now for inviting me here and allowing me to speak with you all. And I ask that you please just keep up all the hard work and to stay encouraged. Thank you.
How's it going, y'all? I want to thank the Unemployed Council, the Wisconsin Bailout the People's Movement, and all the other individuals and organizations and unions that are here today. Really, it's a beautiful day. It's like every day is to support unions and to support workers. I've been organizing with the Collectivo Collective. I'm on the volunteer organizing committee with them, but I've been organizing with them for actually 1 year now. 1 whole year. And I was fired in October, but I still continue organizing with them because it's crucially important. So when we were organizing with Collectivo and we continue to experience it, we've experienced massive retaliation from the company, from this small business, this small regional business that exists in Milwaukee and Madison and Chicago. They hired a union busting firm that held captive audience meetings and trained them, the owners and the management, of how to dissuade workers and coerce workers away from supporting the union, joining the union, voting yes for the union. And that's just a small picture of what a small company, a small regional company can do. So I can't imagine the kind of propaganda that is being thrown at the Amazon workers, not only in Bessemer, but Amazon workers all over the country. You have the richest man in the world, a billionaire, a multi-billionaire. He's got all these resources at his disposal, analytic resources, human resources that he can mobilize in order to dissuade people from joining the union in Bessemer and from trying to unionize in other Amazon plants, like in Florida and Georgia and Iowa, where they're also trying to unionize right now. So it's just, they have these massive resources that they can throw at workers to try and break down the idea that they can make that we workers can make our own lives better through organizing. But we can't. And we don't have all that money. We don't have all that wealth. We don't have all those resources. What we have is solidarity. And we say this word over and over again, solidarity, solidarity. What does that mean when we're saying it in this context? When we're talking about workers' movements all over the world. It means that coffee workers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, recognize that they have more in common with Amazon workers at Bessemer, Alabama, than they do with the capitalist bosses that own the company. We don't have anything in common with Jeff Bezos. I don't even have anything in common with the Collectivo owners, multi-millionaires who are building new houses and still claim that they don't have enough money to keep the business afloat if it unionizes. It's bullshit.
That's right.
And not only is it between coffee workers and Amazon workers, but it's all workers across borders. It means that we have solidarity and we recognize that we have a shared mutual interest with copper miners in Zambia and IT workers in Thailand and healthcare workers in Sri Lanka and cocoa farmers in West Africa, all over the world.
That's right.
Workers have a shared interest because what we do is we produce all the wealth in society. We make society run every single day. We produce everything that we need factories, we don't need them. They need us. They need us to run the machines, to deliver the packages, to pour the coffee. But we don't need them. We could do that all without them.
That's right.
Because like the sign says, workers make the world run, so workers should run the world.
No.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Let's have some other shit. And so that's what solidarity means. It means that we all recognize that we have a shared collective interest to come together, to fight for unions, to fight for workers' rights, to fight for a worker-controlled economy and a worker-controlled society. We don't need the capitalists. We don't need the bosses. We can do everything that we need and produce everything that we need ourselves. So I want to wrap up by saying the Colectivo union vote is happening right now. Finishes at the end of next week. And we really need a final push to let the Colectivo workers know that the community stands behind them, that the union is what is necessary in order to improve wages, improve staffing, improve working conditions at Colectivo. So go to your local cafe, order your coffee, union yes, and Prospect Cafe is right down there. It's not open right now, but that's where they held all their union busting meetings here in Milwaukee. I don't know actually if it is open right now, maybe it is not. I don't know. But go to your local Colectivo Cafe, order your coffee, union yes, give some encouragement to the people there. They need it. They've been intimidated. They've been violated. They've been railed against in emails. Different forms of anti-union discourse, and so we need it. So I just want to say solidarity forever, and now we really know what solidarity means. It means that we all have this shared collective interest, and we recognize what we feel right here in our hearts. So thanks all for being here. Solidarity with the Amazon workers and solidarity with workers everywhere. Thank you.
Not democratically decided upon. You don't get to choose your boss. You don't get to choose who will supervise your work. Private companies are autocratic. They decide the conditions that you work under. You don't get a say on what those conditions are or how they're enforced. And these companies, they may have to follow a set of rules set by the state, by the federal Wisconsin governments, but that does very little to prevent them from walking all over their employees. Unions are the only form of democracy that can keep the autocratic rule of private companies in check. Emphasis on can. Most unions are weak. They don't stand strong with the interests of the workers. Most unions function like an annoying middleman between you and the managers. They don't actually stand with workers. And when workers have an issue, these unions dampen the workers' ability to stand up for themselves. But if we want to make companies like Amazon and Walmart behave the way that we need them to, if we're going to challenge these monopolistic autocracies and the way they tread on their employees, on us workers, we're going to need unions, strong unions. We need to put maximum pressure on them to stand up for workers when workers' rights are under attack. When unions exist, workers need to put pressure on them to strike when conditions become unbearable. Us workers need to put pressure on these unions and exercise our worker power in order to keep these unions fighting on our side. They won't do it on their own just because they're existing. All of the power in a union comes from the workers supporting that union. We need to make unions our own, not someone else's union. We need to make unions our own and nothing less. Now, I support the Amazon workers, and I hope that the Amazon union is able to realize better conditions for Amazon workers. I hope that the Amazon workers will realize that their power lies in the collective mass of workers. And I hope that they will realize that as a collective, as a mass of workers, they hold the power and they have more power than Amazon does. By standing out here giving this speech, I may or may not actually make that happen. By standing out here picketing, we may or may not actually be doing all that we can to build workers' democracy in the United States. But what I do know is that this demonstration is good, and if you're here, your heart is in the right place. We are on the right side of history, and we must continue to fight on the side of the people for as long as necessary.
Organizing for 2 years at the University. We have we've done 70% of our non-seniors and faculty on cars. We are ready to go to an election. We're being held up by a court decision that says that we are considered agents of the church and therefore not eligible for unionization. And just and as a result of that, it'd be unsurprising to you what happened, right? This year, after COVID, the administration claimed austerity, started firing people, despite the fact that they got $23 million in federal stimulus aid, the fact that they're running a $12 million surplus in their budget, and the fact that they're building, a business school that's going to cost them at least $50 million, right? The priorities of the administration are not our priorities. We need to put a constraint on their behavior that allows our interests to come to the fore. And that's what we're doing here, right? As workers standing together, we can put a constraint on the behavior of our bosses, right? They need us, but they don't. But as individuals, we can do nothing, right? Another example of this, right? Jeff Bezos, in the midst of the first 9 months of the stimulus, of the COVID crisis, made $60 billion. His wealth went from $120 billion to $180 billion during that time. That's no accident, right? Well, we got 2 or 3 measly checks. The federal government gave big business $9 trillion of aid to buy off bad corporate debt, right? That's where his profit is coming from. We have to stand with the workers' investment because this is our only chance to push back against that sort of hegemony. We have the chance to unionize the logistical center of this nation. The strategic importance of this fight could not be greater, and I'm so proud to be out here with you all today to fight for the best of the work. Thank you.